For this session's moderator, Mr. Prashant Prakash, founding partner, ASL India, chairman of the Vision Group of Startups, Government of Karnataka, and chairman of Kalki Foundation. I would also like to welcome Mr. Pramod Verma, former chief architect, Aadhaar and India Stack, chief technological officer at Step Foundation, co-founder FIDE.org, and co-creator of Beacon Protocol, co-chair at Center for DPI. On to you, sir.
The best part, I think the previous panel must have covered most of the points.
Yeah, so we can.
We can just get it
So
done.
this is
Quickly,
hopefully this will be the icing on that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
So, Pramod, I thought it's good to kind of frame the context, right, and look at, why is this an important space, right? There are many areas that you guys have chipped away over time. Of course, you started with where the money is, which is great, right? So everybody kind of got value or saw instant value. Education, you guys went into education, and then e-commerce, right? And now something that kind of straddles everything, right? I think what we're going to talk about today has a little bit of everything. So maybe you want to talk about set the context for the space that we're looking at.
So there's a little bit of history, by the way, to even before the idea of open networks and Beacon Protocol effort we did. After Aadhaar, when we reached 600 million people, when Nandan Nilekani exited 2015, then we went on to do 1 billion people, Aadhaar in 5.5 years. India just literally demonstrated that we can do at population scale, transformation at population scale. But the best part was that we went on to do that for eSign, DigiLocker, and of course UPI. I mean, if anybody is not using UPI, I'll be sad. I think it'll be pretty bad. The fact that we did, but there's a funny story. In 2000, after 2015, that's when 2015 early is when we started Step Foundation, where I'm a CTO, Alok was there. Nandan Nilekani attempted his political, a little bit short political attempt, and the good thing that I think he didn't win. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think he would have been much better otherwise. We actually spoke about taking on travel tourism.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. We were really considering whether we want to do that as a next big thing. While we were doing, the underlying infrastructure like payment, DigiLocker and identity, Aadhaar, of course, continue to grow. We asked, what is the transactional economy? What is the, that we can boost through a digital approach? And invariably, we went into travel. And I think it goes back to your point, Prajat, that if you actually crack this puzzle of travel and tourism, of course, highlighting the culture, it has such ripple effect in terms of local economy, jobs, transportation, everything else, including roads, have to get better to even tourism, right? So it has such second order, third order effects. I was telling Nandan that if you want to do one more gig like Aadhaar, you should take up travel and tourism. I'm so glad finally
we partnered on this.
Finally,
so
we partnered.
Great. I think that's a very good background to this. So there's some things. I mean, there's like we say you need to get to the right
out
time.
of the head.
Yeah. So we have been one of the oldest civilizations, right? Living civilizations globally. Very fragmented in terms of the breadth of culture we have. 20, 30, 40 states. I don't know. We're losing count of the number of states, but there is something unique in each state and something unique in each location. But very tough to discover, right? Very tough to. So if we have to maybe start, let's say, on the supply side, and who are the kind of participants, or who are the what are we solving for the supply side here?
So before that, I think we should ask ourselves, why does India's travel and tourism sector underperform?
Yeah, I think it's a good.
This is
it's
a
good
very, very important question. Why do we have such thousands of years of culture, history, and it's an evolving culture? It's not that it's not like a dead culture like many other places you
Definitely,
see.
yeah.
We are a living culture that is actually living through with many of that is there. But if you look at the number of transactions or number of travelers, tourists, whether domestic or foreign, a tiny island like in Phuket
Yeah,
does more number of people than whole of India, and that's a shame. Actually, that's a shame that we are unable to what do you call uplevel our travel tourism to a level that allows a mega economic impact to happen, because without the
Right.
economic impact sustainability won't come. So people should benefit, local communities, service economy, the travel tourism, cooking food. I mean,
yeah.
we have an amazing diversity that we can showcase, but two things we have caused, I think, this issue. One, primarily, I think we have alluded that in the paper.
Yeah.
One is a fragmentation, the word you use, the
Fragmentation, right.
fragmentation word you used. We are very fragmented. Fragmentation is not good. Many diverse culture is a good thing, but fragmentation is not a good thing. So we must figure out how do we unify, how do we create a shared playground where every nook and corner can benefit. So
Yes,
that's one
yes.
way to think about
so
it.
That's aggregation of supply.
Yeah.
is one
No,
at some
I
level.
would actually, maybe one level below, before the aggregation comes, what are the underpinning capabilities that we must create, that trust as a capability,
Basically, the right identified uh, players. Yeah.
people, locations, providers, even tour guides.
Right.
I mean, I was in Hyderabad a few years ago, and I've been to many times in Hyderabad. Never went to Golconda Fort, so I thought I would go to Golconda Fort. It was really bad.
Yeah, the experience is
I think that's the second part, right? We don't focus on storytelling and experiencing. We simply display. We are in a world of display and not experiencing. I think we must move from display to experiencing very, very quickly. Without that storytelling capability, and people must experience. And I mean, even young people here,
yeah,
given a chance, they would go stand in front of Eiffel Tower.
yeah.
They would, no?
Yes.
Eiffel Tower, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Romantic. Supposedly romantic. By the way, it is nice, okay? I'm not poo-pooing Paris. It's a good place, nice place. But it is merely a metal structure. And the metal structure doesn't even, frankly, there is nothing other than that metal structure that they constructed. Neither tall, neither good looking,
No, but they made
it's
it a
such
photo.
an icon.
It's an aspirational
It's
photo.
a story.
Yeah,
No,
a story.
it's about storytelling. It's about experiencing and people connecting alternate notions of romantic notions to Eiffel Tower, which has nothing to do with romance. It's just a storytelling that comes through. I think we must figure that out. So I think there is a way we must reimagine the tour travel culture. And the best part of India is that India's middle class is rising, of course, very
Yes.
well. And India's domestic tourism is vibrant, which is very, very good. So we must take advantage of the fact that middle class is ready to travel and experience. And we must take advantage of the fact that foreigners would like to come here.
No, this is a very good
this
point.
why
Pramod.
is very
Yeah.
key.
Because if you don't, they will start going abroad.
They'll go somewhere.
Right?
No? People want to spend money.
Once the people have money,
Yeah.
so you're actually going to lose an opportunity of a class that is now has
Ready
the
to-
disposable income, but you're
Yeah.
not able to, like you said,
They are harnessed.
provide the
Yeah.
stories and have them relate.
And Prashant, now come back to the supply question you
Yeah,
asked,
yeah.
no? What do we need to bring it together? We need to bring a lot of pieces of the puzzle together. We need to bring together infrastructure, ability to travel, ability. Our number of hotels, by the way, number of hotels across India is less than, I think, number of hotel rooms in Paris or something like that. So it's a very, these numbers are staggering, by the way. You should see India's hotel capacity supply is very few. But ask yourself, if you are a commercial business person, why would you set up a hotel preemptively if there is no signaling that business will come your way?
Yes.
Now, individual businesses can't do this. So this is why either DPI approach, digital public infrastructure approach, a national approach to unifying allows signaling that these areas are going to come up, they're going to be showcased, get ready for the supply. So supply will come when there is a demand, and demand starts generating when there's supply. So it's a little bit of a chicken and egg problem.
Yes.
And this cracking this chicken and egg problem is tricky, but I think India definitely has done it before and must be able to do it.
No, there is a big appetite. Like
Big
that's
appetite,
what he
yeah.
said,
I
right?
agree,
So,
I
and Pramod, how do we, on the trust part, there's a big aspect of rating in tourism, and the big aspect of there's different quality, softer aspects to this type of. It's not a hard thing, like just it's not just about payments or logistics or transportation, where there is, if you fulfill a transaction, you're done. Here you could have fulfilled something, but the experience could be crap, right? So how that experiential element, how do you weave it into a protocol and into this kind of experience?
No,
Where do you see that coming into your open grid stack?
No, I think we must start with defining experiences. Not place to go. Experiences. Experiences contain many sub-elements.
Correct.
Okay, for that experience to happen, you need a place to stay, you need a mechanism to go, you need local transport, you need, maybe as part of the experience there is some local culture showcase.
Yes.
So you need artisans or other cultural elements to be woven into that experience. You start unbundling from the experience layer. So you define these experiences, unbundle, and ask ourselves, why would that supply come together nicely to create that experience layer? What is their incentive? How do we make sure good supply pop up and bad supply disappear automatically?
Yes.
Without
how does
government
that-
coming in the way of saying
Correct.
you is a good one. Government cannot do any of this. According to me,
Yeah.
it will be very hard for government to do, other than notional support and the mission support. I think they can do a mission support. State governments and central government can do mission support, but don't expect them to implement. We must leverage both community energy. Community means influencers, local communities, young generation who are out there showcasing experiences in many of the social media. Harness their community energy, and also harness market energy. Market energy is sustainable.
Yeah, now we are talking demand. So how do
No,
we?
so you have to start there.
Yeah.
You have to start there to figure out, if you want these experiences. Let's say we want to do a pilot. We want these experiences. Who are the community players? Who are the market players? Unbundle
Yes.
that and then go to the supply. Supply is towards crafting.
Crafting
these
and
experiences.
fulfilling a
Fulfilling
particular
this experience. Correct.
experiences. I understand. So I think I think now we have covered at some level how this whole equation kind of comes into place, right? And a good thing to talk about is how does one get started, right? You had this experience of piloting everything, right? From the Aadhaar days to the ONDC pilot. From all those experiences, how do you create, or untangle this chicken and egg situation, right? And from your experiences in the context of tourism, art, and culture, uh, what partnerships, what ecosystem relationships would be important for us to foster to kind of get this bootstrapped?
Okay, a lot of us as designers don't go pilot first. We do design and then pilot to prove the design works at scale.
Right.
Because if you do pilot quickly, I mean, you work with Malini, here. I'm very sure we'll get a great experience done in Bangalore. But how did it happen countrywide? Why would 100 such efforts happen? It's very hard to answer that question. So we have to first design what works at scale. So if you look at Aadhaar, it took a year to design. If you look at UPI, it took a year and a half to design. ONDC took 3 years by the time we got to the
Right,
ONDC. So
right.
we must not underestimate the idea of designing the playground. Not designing specific experience. I'm not saying, oh, in Bangalore, this is what you should see. Or in Kerala, you should.
Yeah, the overall playground.
The playground.
ecosystem, yeah.
How does the playground work? Once a playground design is done, and we ask why behind the why should it work, why should it sustain, why should people trust that, why will not people not game it, why would you have to keep artificially drugging it,
Right.
why would it self-sustain, and why would the good experiences bubble up and bad experiences go away? We have to ask why, and then distill that design. Once a design is done, a paper design can get large community to participate in that design effort. When we have the design blueprint, then you pilot it.
So, quick question is, what are the kinds of players who usually participate in this, so that people get a sense?
By design, all our designs have been multi-sectoral, multi-expertise teams. Never put one tech team in the
In the middle of
or
it.
one government team or culture team. It has to be a combination of, even legal questions will come up. Are there any issues like that? Are there any security issues or grievance management issues? What do we do if there's somebody, tourist is attacked or something happened to do? Is there a national fabric to deal with that and quickly deal with such issues? Because if they dominate, then we have a self-collapsing system, right? So we have to ask this question by bringing human behavior experts, cultures, tourism, travel experts, technology experts, and legal and other regulatory experts. But you don't put all of them in one room and discuss. Very bad idea. Okay,
Right.
nothing will come out of it.
Right.
So the way you do about it is really you take a design and then you get a first, let's say, version 0.1 of the design, and then you go to people,
Yeah,
and then
and
you
kind
say what works, what should work, what could fail, what do you think, what else can we think about, and then keep incorporating into version 2, version 0.3, and so on. And then every once in a while you do a round table, more larger round
Like,
table.
once you get to maybe
Okay,
version
reasonable
the
shape.
0.5 or
Yeah,
something.
correct. And then once you get to a near 1.0 version, you can actually go to a pilot. You can actually, and when you do pilot, you ask this question again, like UPI experience. When we wanted UPI pilot, no big banks wanted to join. Largest banks didn't want to join. Largest card companies won't join. Payment guys won't join. So who do you go after for the pilot is very key. And in the pilot, you must prove all pieces of the puzzle are actually working, which is in the design. You have a design blueprint.
Yeah.
Is it really working?
Yeah.
Is market coming alive?
Right.
Is local community coming alive? Are local influencers coming alive? They have to ask these questions,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But when we do that, pilots, you always try to go after challengers and early movers. Early movers have nothing to lose.
And those are the ones we need to find.
They will actually hack their way through because they have nothing to lose. The challenger, there are three categories. People who are starting, people who start off their journey, tourist marketplace or startups, or somebody who just want to be early influencer,
Right.
not the mega influencer,
Right.
who is like there, almost hungry enough to do. They will lose sleepless nights to build early pilots for you. But people who will actually invest are the middle section,
challenger.
category. Because the early categories find access to capital difficult for them because they are not a raised capital. And the challengers allow you to actually start scaling the pilot. Then incumbents, the big guys will join little later.
Yeah, I mean, I think
They'll oppose also. So you have to really create what you call an inclusive design that everybody looks at that design and say, oh, there is something in for me. But there will be still one or two large platform players who might look at it and say, maybe this will reduce my transaction.
Right.
But frankly, from UPI experience,
yeah.
even the MasterCard Visa transaction went up 5x in India. So it's very funny to argue that UPI takes away somebody else's game. India is such a low performing world. We are still scratching the surface that when we do, everyone wins. That's actually a real advantage of this game.
No, that's
Yeah.
And what's the role of government, and at what point, in what ways did you
Oh, yeah.
kind of work with them and like kind of also not get too entangled with them, right? I think both are important.
No, I think, see, government comes with its own very, very powerful possibilities and their constraints. Government officers' constraints.
Yeah, in this case,
very
tourism
tough.
departments,
Only so much capacity. I might be there for 2-3 months, then I get transferred. How much can I do really while I am there? So you ask this question: what are they really good at, and what are they bad at?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the good at part is regulatory shifts or early mission messaging.
Yeah.
Blessing, regulatory support. Maybe there you need to alter some mechanism, or maybe sometimes you need a new road or some new infrastructure. These market guys can't build a road, right? So we need government to do bare minimum to support the mission, support the regulatory and policy interventions.
Bless it in some way.
And low level infrastructure like there's very interesting. Somebody asked me recently that, I come from the artist Raja Ravi Verma family, so that's why
Raja Verma.
Yeah, Raja Ravi Verma family. So that's why I have this cultural, artistic backbone. We asked ourselves, what if we create an experience of how he lived? The artist Raja Ravi Verma lived in 1780 or 1880, right, when he was living. And we have these rooms and he has this palace right now, even now. But then we were wondering, there's no power, there's not enough. But somebody actually gave me an idea. Somebody was telling me, maybe the lack of power, lack of electricity is a good thing. Because 1880, you can actually give them original feel experience.
Yeah, just with oil lamps and...
Oil lamps, maybe a local, that's how he lived. Maybe that's how, maybe people pay more not to have electricity. You never know.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You never know. Provided the experience people take away touches their heart and they become the spokesperson for that experience to propagate. They will go and tell, never miss this experience. Go back and experience it. If you can convert from display to that experience, I think we have a way to go.
Great. I think we covered all the aspects of how to get this marketplace going, and the pilot. I mean, getting the pilots. If you take a 5-year view on this, Pramod, what should we aspire? Should we look at it like something that is seeded pan-India? At that point, I mean, of course, we could go.
Yeah,
broader.
absolutely. Now, if you look at all our digital public infrastructure effort, whether it's Aadhaar or UPI or DigiLocker or ONDC, everything is a decade-long, 1 decade-long journey to get to escape velocity, to get to a good state. Like UPI, there is no going back for India. We will never undo UPI, right? It's already escaped. Escape velocity has been achieved. DigiLocker, Aadhaar, it's all DigiLocker is not yet there, but Aadhaar is already done. DigiLocker will get there. Why is it? And the first 5 years is very key.
Yeah.
First 5 years get to the early majority, adopting, early majority of Indians adopting and travelers adopting. I think we can get to an early majority with
5 years.
With 5 years, maybe we can target saying
Maybe about 10
100 world-class experiences or
Yeah.
100, 200. We can put together
No,
as a
at least I would say meaningfully 10, 20 clusters.
clusters
Yeah.
with few of 10, 20 clusters, maybe 4, 5 experiences each, maybe 100 odd experiences, world-class experiences, fully packaged. That means people can book it, experiences, and they will absolutely rave about it. I think we can get there. I have a feeling even Indians will queue up for this because I don't know how many people have seen even India. India has so much more to see. I mean,
Yeah.
but we just don't see enough, right?
So if you had to
demand, I think, will
yeah.
come. If you
Demand.
package the supply well, demand will come.
How do startups participate in this, right? So
Excellent question.
And also, if you want to relate to somebody in the, I don't know if they're in India. They may be challenger, like an Airbnb, because they're not like. Would you work with somebody who's slightly large, but maybe in the country, not, but who have elements of a similar system in place? If you look at how Airbnb works, right?
Yeah.
So would it be good to co-opt with somebody like that in this?
It's a very good question. So now we might have this incumbency problem with
Yes.
Airbnb or large travel websites. They might look at it as why we are already doing it, no? Why should we do more? So we might now. On the other hand, if we can really show the early momentum of growth in transactions, very high chance they will join because they can also grow. No, there's nothing wrong. They can also grow. We also have ONDC. So we have an open network marketplace as well, where we can actually bring tourism and travel experiences to be sold, bought, listed, and discovered.
Yeah, so
listed,
this would be
fulfilled.
it would be some like a subset of ONDC, or how do you see this?
No,
work?
so that connects us to the larger question you were asking. How does startups join?
Yeah.
So startups have two areas, fundamentally two areas. Whenever such large-scale infrastructure happen, you can play into either supply side. That means you as a startup,
Yeah.
you know your town or you know your state, you can go and say, I'm going to aggregate every homestay or every artisan or every dancer or every whatever. So you can become a supply side. Supply side not only supply of main experiences, supply of guides,
Yeah.
supply of training capacity, supply of money. Like you can actually do lending towards building more homestays. So you can be a
Right.
lender in that. If you are a early stage fintech, you can actually play into saying in tourism and travel, can I create specialized products, financial products that increases supply. So this
Right.
is supply side.
That's on the supply.
On the demand side, you can ask the question, do I look for demand in corporate travel? Do I go and target consumer travel? Consumer game is very hard, right?
Yeah.
Because eventually consumer acquisition and stay is hard. Yeah, that's why we see PhonePe and Google Pay and all doing few, but very difficult for consumer play to do because none of you actually, you keep uninstalling every app. Nobody likes to install apps. So sometimes you have to ask the question, there are beyond consumers. You can do residential communities. You can go and tie up with corporates. You can go and tie up with many other sectors, B2C, not B2C.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of demand side mechanism. Even in demand, if you are a fintech, you can say, here is a product that gives you no interest, 6 months tourism loan offer. So
Yeah.
I can do a lending offer for
Right.
travel. So you can look at insurances, lending, access to capital, access to booking, access to travel. If you are an aggregator of a taxi like Namayatri guys, Shan and all these guys who are here,
Yeah.
Namayatri can now say, oh, we have a special travel. People are coming on to Bangalore. We have a special voucher for you. And here is that how you use Namayatri. And experience an auto rickshaw drive. Experience. Don't look at it as, oh, I have to take an auto rickshaw. Maybe we can get an experience done under that.
Right.
And some of these guys are, Shan and all is thinking about it. Namayatri guys are thinking about it.
Super. I think
Opportunities plenty.
yes.
I think it's
So
for them
I
to
think
manage.
really
Yeah.
exciting. Like
Yeah.
you said, when was that? Going back to the when was the first time you
2015.
and so it's been like 20 years.
20 years.
20 years, but
Never late.
Good things take time.
Good things
Pramod,
take
on that
time.
note, thank you for the support. Shout out to Amazon
Yeah.
and the
Absolutely.
the IT and BT department and the secretary Ekrup Kaur is here. Thank you for her support.
Thank you for
And I
hosting
think
us.
I have this big believer that all things new. This is the city of new beginnings. All things new have to start from here. And this is one more new thing from Bangalore. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you for the wonderful session, sir. I would like to request Mr. Prashant Prakash to felicitate Pramod Verma. I would also like to request all the panelists of the last session to come over the stage. Okay. I'd like to welcome Ms. Ekrup Kaur, Secretary of Department of Electronics and ITBT, Government of Karnataka. Dr. Ratan Kelkar, IAS, Secretary IT and Environment, Government of Kerala. Karthik Kittu, Director, Kalki Foundation. Malini Goel, Founder, Unboxing, Bengaluru. And Nikhil Velanpur from AWS.
Deputy Secretary.
Also Ruchi Bindal, Deputy Secretary of IT and BT, Government of Karnataka. I request all the dignitaries to join us for the unveiling of the concept note of One Tech. I request everyone again to unveil the concept note of One Tech.